Here's the deal. They have been desensitizing us since we were born. And I'll give you some examples. Let's start with the big one. Let's start with words we hear all the time and never even think about. Let's start with the word entertainment. To entertain. What does that mean? To bind or hold. To bind or hold what? An audience's attention. Okay, now let's take the word Hollywood. Where does that come from? Well, Hollywood comes from the holly tree. And the ancient Druids, back in the day, used to take the holly tree, make wands to weave spells, cast spells, or channel spells. And when they needed help, they would consult the magi's or the mediums of the day to help channel their spells to the population. We'll cut to today. What do we have in our houses? We have these black boxes. What are they called? TVs. But if you stop and you say the word television, and when you turn on that television, what do you get? What's the first thing that pops up? A list of channels. And when you turn on those channels, what's on those channels? Programming. They are programming you. They've been programming your whole life. You don't even know it. They do it with your music. They do it with your TV. They do it with your movies. They do it with your games. They have been programming us and programming you since you were little, and you don't even know it because you don't even question.
Let me get this straight. Charlie Kirk had no coroner's report, no church funeral, no burial site or grave, no official death certificate. Why has no official autopsy been conducted, nor any findings released? No ballistics report, not a single eyewitness on the record, and an award-winning widow already taking over his show. Why was the entire crime scene destroyed within hours, erasing vital evidence? They tore down everything, including the Dairy Queen. Why were there no paramedics on the scene? Why was Charlie Kirk's body removed and illegally flown out on Air Force Two? Why did Donald Trump pardon a Navy SEAL killer whose shadow looms over this case? Why was the stadium mysteriously booked by Turning Point 4 months before his death? How was a massive high-tech stadium memorial produced in only 11 days? Why do multiple women publicly appear as Erica Kirk, raising questions of identity? Why are there no birth certificates for their children? No names revealed, no faces ever shown? Where is a video of Charlie playing with his kids at a birthday party, or picnic, or any other family setting? Why do Freemasonic and satanic symbols surround this tragedy with chilling precision? Interesting that the gun was found on property owned by Palantir. Isn't it interesting Kash Patel fired many of the heads of the FBI in that area days before the shooting? Do you find it interesting that Charlie sold his house 8 months ago for $5 million? If the father of your 2 young children was just brutally murdered for the world to see days ago, do you leave them home with the nanny while you go on podcasts grinning from ear to ear? Is it not curious that a 17-year-old first-time Donald Trump beauty pageant contestant won, and now Trump appointed a top attorney general woman who has no experience who is also in his beauty pageant? This is only a fraction of the clues and evidence on this psyop. For those of you brave enough to look at the evidence while removing the preconceived emotions, the conclusion is undeniable.
The Smith-Mundt Modernization Act was buried in the 2012 National Defense Authorization Act for a good reason, because it repealed the 1948 Smith-Mundt Act, which authorized the State Department and mainstream media to engage in propagandizing foreign countries, but it prohibited releasing that same propaganda in America for public consumption. This prohibition was lifted when the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act was signed into law by Obama.
Very simply, Obama gave it a reboot in 2012. So, no matter how outrageous the propaganda may be, it's completely legal.
Mossad's old office, its motto from Proverbs 24:6 says in so many words, wage war through deception and trickery.
We have an incredible array of possibilities of creating foreign companies that have no way being traced back to Israel. Shell companies over shell companies who affect the supply chain to our favor. We create a pretend world. We are a global production company. We write the screenplay. We're the directors. We're the producers. We're the main actors. And the world is our stage.
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
It's showtime.
Did anyone see that press conference by the so-called FBI? Something's wrong. I know I shouldn't do this. I'm risking an awful lot to go up against this FBI, the MAGA FBI. Something's very wrong with what I just heard. I mean, I watched it. I was hoping that they had caught the bastard who shot Charlie. So we saw a video of a person jumping off the roof. It looked very legitimate to me. However, there was no rifle in his hand. Now, the Mauser does not break down very easily, incidentally, for those of you who know weapons. Something's wrong with the whole thing. They're trying to claim he removed the barrel from the Mauser and fit the receiver and stock in his backpack and barrel in his pants leg all in 2 seconds. It is not easy to remove a Mauser barrel or index it after reinstalling and remain accurate. We are not hearing or seeing reality. And by the way, the photo of the rifle allegedly left in the woods has the barrel installed. So we're supposed to believe a guy is on the run after killing Charlie Kirk, and he pauses in the woods to reinstall a barrel, and then he leaves it for us to find, the FBI to find. I don't believe a word of it. I shouldn't do this. I know I'm putting myself at risk, but I can't take it anymore. I can't take the bullshit from this fucking government. It's lying to us. Something's wrong. Something's so wrong. It's sickening. Look at this idiot. They found the rifle and they're getting the prints. Are you stupid? Are you that stupid? Are you that dumb? The man jumps off the roof. There's no rifle there. Oh, it's in his backpack. I just told you, moron, that this rifle doesn't break down that easily. And then it's supposed to be reassembled while he's on the run. Wait, I'll stop now and reassemble it and leave it in the woods in a box wrapped in a towel. He left breadcrumbs. Oh, and the trans stuff on the cartridges. Bullshit. Something is wrong with this whole fucking picture.
22. My daughter's 22. It's about 2.5 inches shorter than any .6 I own in my house. I'm going to show you putting this in my pants. See this shit here? I got her right in the pants now. Button this shit up for you. Put the belt on so it holds it in place a little bit. Zip my crotch up. I'm gonna do this. I really don't really think you guys can see a gun, can you? I mean, now just imagine me trying to go up a set of fucking stairs with this. But they don't show you a video of anybody going up a stairs with a fucking gun in their jeans. Pretty fucking hard now, isn't it? Why is that? Why didn't they show you that video? Think, people, think. That's enough.
Hey, I'm recording this on Saturday morning, September 13th, 2025. I've been waiting for some intelligent commentary on the recent killing of Charlie Kirk, and watched a bunch of videos, and even with some military guys and police guys, and I'm not seeing the intelligence here. All right, so let's just break this down. They have video. I don't even know the guy's name. It's irrelevant. They have video of this guy arriving, and they have video of this guy supposedly jumping off the building and running away. Let's just start there. He's got no rifle. He doesn't have a rifle when he's arriving, and he doesn't have a rifle when he's running away. And the rifle was not found in the sniper's nest, a la Oswald. It was found in the woods on a blanket with some bullets with some weird stuff engraved into them, which is weird all by itself. Do we have to go any further? Do we really have to point out how ridiculous this is? All right, so we got to take off some of these idiotic things that are floating around. Well, he dissembled the weapon and concealed it, and you ever lifted a Mauser? A, they're heavy. B, you don't take, they're not like, it's not like an AK or something, you know. It's hard to take apart. Like, you need special tools. It takes a lot of time. It's a pain in the ass. It's not plug and play. It's basically a piece of wood from World War One. Good rifle. But no way did he conceal it in his backpack, assemble it on the roof, disassemble it in what, 5 seconds? Put it in his pants. I mean, this is insane, guys. Let's just start with that. We could stop right there.
So when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on, and then he changes clothing on the roof.
On the roof.
And then changed back into that clothing at some point, so that when he was apprehended, when he was arrested, the clothing matched the clothing he had on before the shooting here at UB.
Right.
Last question
Okay.
here.
Do you know how insane that is? You guys understand that they're trying to convince you he changed twice, assembled and deassembled a bolt action rifle. I believe it's called a Mauser. And that's not easy. That's not something you can just do like it's Lego. You actually need a screwdriver and real experience in doing so. I mean, this is all just absurd. So the guy on the roof did have different clothing from the pictures they originally released of him in the staircase, but that's because the guy changed on the roof and then changed back, you know, after he jumped that 30-foot jump right there. Footage of him running off the roof, allegedly right here, jumping down, which, mind you, I don't know how tall this guy is, but that looks like a pretty huge jump, doesn't it? Doesn't look like it's a little jump there. Mind you, it doesn't look like he has a rifle with him either. And
some of this video coming in from investigators here, as this was released late yesterday. Now, the agency saying that it shows the shooter at Utah Valley University jumping from the rooftop of a building after the gunshot was fired. Agents say around 12 p.m. local time Wednesday, the gunman is seen
right here, nonchalantly walking. Where are the hundreds of people?
climbing up to the rooftop. Then after killing Charlie Kirk, they say he
walking, not running, by himself. Where are the hundreds of people?
Jumps off and runs away. Investigators say the shooter left behind the gun and ammo in a wooded area near the university. Evidence collected from the rooftop does include, according to the FBI, shoe imprint.
See? Walking nonchalantly. This is so fake. Anybody that buys this, you are definitely under the trance. You are definitely brainwashed into believing whatever your government and the mainstream liars tell you down the road.
So the whole time I was thinking, how are they having an open casket? Because the way he was taken out was like to the jugular. There was this explosion. It was horrifying, disgusting. And how did you have an open casket after that? And not that I wanted them to show us, but you couldn't see his face. You just saw somebody's hands, and they look, the coloring, they look like fake hands. Like it just looked like a wax figure. It was very, very strange, very awkward. This looked like just an Instagram story. Like they literally were like, look, I'm going to show. So you can see in a reflection in the casket, it looks like this big thing is right behind her, like a big camera, right? And it's like they were just doing an Instagram story or an Instagram post. Like, all right, get your hair and nails and makeup done. We're going to have the camera real tight behind you. Don't get up too fast. I'm going to be right behind you. Hold up the metal. You know, it's like Snapchat or Instagram. Like you can't tell me there's not something off here.
The dummy corpse. The counter argument to the fake death theory would be if we had at any time seen Kirk's corpse. However, as a matter of fact, we did see the hands of a corpse in a rather morbid video of Erica leaning on Kirk's casket, filmed at close range. Although this is meant to convince people that they have seen the corpse, Many people express doubts at the orange, dummy-like hands that we see. And by the way, you must have noticed that there was no funeral service for Kirk. The 5-hour Memorial TPUSA Mega Show was not a funeral service, and Kirk's parents did not even attend. So now I do have a video of this that I want to show you, and I want you to pay attention to the size of the hands. Yes, they look yellow and waxy, but look how small these hands are compared to Erica Kirk's hands. Her hands look almost the same size, if not bigger, than what we're led to believe are Charlie's hands. However, in this image, you can see that Charlie's hands actually are significantly larger than Erica's. I did include 2 images here so that you can see that on the top image, it looks like his hand completely covers hers. And in the bottom image, you can get a pretty good idea of the hand sizes.
In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cobb. Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Now, I'm not here to talk about whether Charlie Kirk actually died or everything was fake, pretty much like Donald Trump's fake assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania. But if the latter is the case, I'm not here to talk about Kosher Patel's Valhalla remarks at that Masonic press conference either. Although the odds of him having referred to a secret underground city in Utah are pretty darn good, because for many years there have been a lot of rumors about a place where people whose deaths were faked by the deep state go into hiding. But that's beside the point, and even if Charlie Kirk faked his own death, the events at Utah Valley University still were a satanic, Masonic ritual ridden with ritualistic red flags all over the place. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that the goal was one and one only: pull the Epstein disclosure off the news and take the heat off ringleader-in-chief, which they apparently succeeded for the time being, or for as long as the gullible American sheep still distracted by the Charlie Kirk false flag / inside job. I can't stress enough how much it pisses me off how easy people fall for all these dog and pony shows concocted by this pedophile cabal led by Donald Trump, and how fast they overlook the truth. That's why I'm already expecting more dramatic false flags in the foreseeable future, regardless whether or not people are dying, so that the mainstream media outlets stop talking about Jeff Epstein.
The 47 on the hat, you see 3 of them. Let's get a little bit of a close-up, and definitely it's a prop. The 4 and the 7 equal 11. What do you have here? You have 3 of them, so you have your coded 33 with 11, 11, 11. Again, 33.
Also, Kelly, we're hearing Charlie Kirk's organization is revealing new details surrounding his death. What are they saying about this?
Yeah, I wanted to get to that. There was a new post out from the executive producer of the Charlie Kirk Show, TPUSA spokesperson Andrew Colvett, and he wanted to post this. He said he spoke with the surgeon who worked on Charlie in the hospital, and they were talking about the exit wound. So Colvett was saying that there was no exit wound. We are still waiting to confirm this with the hospital, but he said he spoke with the surgeon who worked on Charlie. He said the bullet absolutely should have gone through, but it didn't go through. Charlie's body stopped it. He said, quote, "It was an absolute miracle that someone else didn't get killed." They did find the bullet just beneath the skin, he says, and even in death, he finishes that Charlie managed to save the lives of those around him. So that was just posted within the last hour. We wanted to make sure we shared that with you as well, Natasha.
Yeah, appreciate those details. Kelly Meyer live on the ground in Arizona.
Yeah, we called it a bullshit.
All right. So today on Dual Liberty Firearms, we're going to be showing you what a 30-06 does to a ballistics gel skull. So we have a realistic human head here made with ballistics gelatin and a resin skull, and it's got a filling in there, so hopefully you'll be able to see what happens. right, so now we're going to throw it in about a 10% slow-mo for you. This is going to look super cool. Now, what happened was when the 30-06 projectile hit the head, I had predicted it would go through the front side and just blow a big hole in the back side. But what actually happened was the large projectile of the 30-06 went through the skull and impacted all the liquid blood that I had on the inside. Now that had created a shockwave inside of the head that had literally blown the head to pieces. There was not much left to it when it was all said and done, you know. So I do have to say that all in all, 30-06 versus a human head, amazing result. More coming at you, every caliber I can get.
And look at this spot right here. Just move over. And it moves. You just move. Now, obviously, it went to his neck. But look at the position. I'm going to move this over around a bit. But you're going to see where that black spot, supposedly blood, of course, is going to move around his neck. I'll get into that, but let's back up here first. Again, ever so slowly. And you see that spot move over? Well, the shirt looks like it's pumped full of air. Okay, look at that move once again. I'm going to do this so very slowly. It's going to move over to the neck area. Now it's over there. Now watch this. That spot on his neck, if that's a bullet hole, it should remain in one spot. But you're going to see this, the spot exactly in this precise location, it's going to move. It's not going to remain at the same exact spot on the neck. Let's do this here. Now watch this. Now it's moving. It just moved a bit. It was here. He moved, but the spot on the neck didn't move. That tells you there's something going on here. Let's move this around. You see how it's moving around a little bit? It's like traveling on his neck.
So one thing you see here is that as he moves, the wound actually does not move with him. It's either some sort of augmented reality projection or some sort of post-production editing or CGI that has been added. However, there's a very heavy possibility that this could have been done in real time with, like I said, augmented reality, some sort of projection and or hologram.
When this first happened, I was looking at him throwing the hats out. I was looking for an air squib, a blood pack underneath that t-shirt, and I didn't see one. Then, after people started seeing the blood pack, which started up here, and one on his back, I will show you him walking in. There is a pack on his back. Alex Jones come out with he's wearing a vest. Now, for all of you keep saying there's a vest, show me. Where is it? That is his shoulder right up against that t-shirt. There's no bulge. There is no vest. Alex Jones had to put that out there to alibi the blood pack, the air squib that was going to be used to fake his death.
That I just received, and this is supposedly moments before, and it is very clear that he does not have body armor.
So how do we decide? How do we figure out? How do we use this event to absolutely discern and suss out who's part of the CIA and paid for alternative bullshit media and who's not? It's real easy. Just ask every single person, every influencer, everybody that you listen to, everybody. Ask them this. What's up with the chair? What's up with the chair, man? You know, just like Brad Pitt at the end of, and say it with that passion, say it with that like gusto, you know what I mean? Like actually force an answer out of these people so we can clean house here. Ask them just like Brad Pitt at the end of Seven when he was all losing his mind, if you will, because he's like, what's in the box? Just ask your influencers, What's up with the chair, man? Talk about the chair. Steven Crowder. Talk about the chair. Ben Shapiro. Talk about the chair. Matt Walsh. Every last one of them. Every last one of them. Ask them. Be annoying about it. Flood their comment sections. Write them personally. It's real easy. Once again, I'll do it again just for theatrics, if you will. What's up with the chair, man? Talk about the chair. What's up with the chair, man?
When people see the air squib for the first time, they react like, wow, I can't believe that took no explosive whatsoever. They're really amazed by how easy it is. Pyrotechnic squibs are a lot more complicated and a lot more dangerous. These are a lot safer and they give you the same visual effect as if it was a pyrotechnic hit.
Compared to companies without this unit, we are much faster, it's easier to rig, we can rehearse much more, and so on.
I get a lot of students, film students, who like to come in and use it, and that's because they don't have pyrotechnic cards to do a pyrotechnic hit. But even people with pyrotechnic cards, they also like to use them as well. It's an easier alternative for them than having to use a bullet hit.
Using the air squib system has affected our work by opening it up into other areas that we haven't been able to get into before, especially into the theatre industry, and that's enabled us to safely do shots on stage.
The radio control is simple to use and the reach is great.
Maybe it's just about gun control.
The main advantage of using an air squib over the normal pyrotechnic squib system is the safety aspect of being non-explosive. It's also the advantage of being able to use it in any body part, quite often, especially in the head area, and also in very close proximity to the other actors on the stage area.
An unusual use is when we shoot talcum powder under low light condition, so the smoke appears as a puff.
It's very easy, very fast to set up. In between shots, it's only going to take you about a minute to put blood back into the tube, zip tie it, and you're ready to go again.
The air squib is very easy to use for all technicians because it's a very simple setup. What is unique with the air squib is that it's so silent, so it doesn't scare neighbors or animals. It's good for my company to have the air squib because my competitors don't, so we are much faster than they are. The actors like it a lot because it's no explosive attached to their bodies.
The air squib unit is industrially made with a metal air tank, FCC approved, the case. Everything that goes into the air squib unit is made professionally.
Everybody could benefit from an air squib because it's silent and it's very economical to use.
I would recommend air squib to anyone in the industry for its versatility, its safety, and ease of use.
The air squib is the simplest, cheapest, easiest way to put bullet hits on any person.
People are amazed that there was a job title called Chief of Disguise. And most women I know wish they'd had that job. Sounded like fun. Actually, it was fun. I don't think another intelligence agency in the world devoted the time and the budget to disguise like we did. Disguise became a form of body armor. In the Spy Museum, we call the mask a 5-second mask. They proved invaluable. You could change your ethnicity, you could change your gender, you could change your nationality, and if you needed to, you could actually become another person. When I was chief of disguise, we had already begun using Hollywood stunt double masks. That was a technology that came straight out of LA. We worked with a man named John Chambers, who had done all the makeup for Planet of the Apes.
He has a definite gift for mimicry.
They could spend 5 hours putting on a mask. They could spend an hour taking it off. And they could shoot it again and again and again until they got the lights just right. Our mask had to be perfect in the car. When you got out of the car, you had to know without a mirror that you were good. The point of all of our masks was speed. You had to imagine that you were going to be in situations that you couldn't even anticipate. An officer somewhere picks this thing up, just puts it on in 5 seconds, and knows that it's right, that he's invisible. If you had to sit and tinker with this thing, if you needed a mirror, it wasn't going to be useful to you at all. The masks were full-face latex masks. It allows you to furrow your brow, it allows you to squint your eyes, it allows you to speak. You talked. The specific mask we're talking about would fit just one person. The first thing we do is we make a face impression. If you've been to a dentist and never had a dental impression, it's the same thing. It's just your face, not your teeth. So they would have added to his face. They could rearrange his face a bit and give him a new face that would fit perfectly over his real face. We never used human hair. We always used a synthetic. The idea of a man washing the hair on his mask and making it look nice when that was all done was never going to happen. The synthetic hair, you couldn't hurt it, basically. You could wear your mask in a rainstorm and your hair would still be okay.
Very human.
The masks, more than once, were taken off in a moment of terror and crushed down and put under arms in armpits. They would fit in armpits if they needed to. That was part of the design. The mask is the culmination of a lot of work that we did at CIA over a period of, I'd say, 10 years, developing that technology. It was a big challenge to come up with something that finally actually animated and worked to really fool a person closer than 3-4 feet from you. But we did.
They learned the art.
We actually brought Hollywood back into our labs at one point to look at what we had done, and they were stunned. They're absolutely stunned.
Congratulations.
The fact that we're allowed to show it tells me the CIA had moved on. I don't know what they're doing. I shouldn't know. I'm dying to know, but I don't know.
Relax. You'll get to see it all later on.
So I'm proud to show people how good we got to that point and let them imagine. So what are they doing now?
Mask that fit tight against the chest, fit perfect on the face. They even claim that they design it to that individual. And through the sleight of hand magic show, you know, look over here and don't look at what this guy's doing. You know, the magicians, they can perform, some think, miracles. That would have caused his t-shirt to blow up and come back down as the air is being shot through that, right up through his neck. A little button underneath that mask, that clear mask, and it would look like it blew out. That's why there's only a limited amount of blood to come out. And then he goes down, they carry him off. No blood trail, no nothing. Throw him in the back of an SUV. You don't. The camera pans away as it got him up to the seat so you wouldn't see him stand up. Very easy to do.
Wrong, but what we don't want to have happen is that awful moment, and I wish I could say it's never happened, where you're on set and you start pumping blood and you look at the actor and nothing's coming out of his neck, but there's a giant red pile going on the back of his body, you know? All I'm doing with purging the line is making sure that the blood is travelling down the line and that there's pressure in the thing. So I don't know if you can see here. You got it? Chair. So this is the bit where I'm going to cut the appliance. Oh. So I'm going to start to cut. This is where I had that situation where I had an extra freak out on set. This is always I think, a very nerve-wracking piece because you don't exactly know for sure that you are in the right place, and also, you know, you are using a pair of live scissors on next to an actor, and the whole crew are watching sometimes, and you're a little bit nervous. I just get you to turn a little bit towards my mic. There you go. These are a very, very fine pointed scissor. They snip through foam really, really well. And also they've got a lot of control over the blade. There we go. It's a little bit lower than I wanted to be, but that's actually not a bad thing. Regarding the pale colour of the foam on the inside, some people like to paint that red. I don't. Your flesh is naturally white inside. I'll bring you back to this position. And I kind of like the white because it's going to go red very, very quickly. And I like that. I really do. I like this. Now, once you drop your head down, just relax. See, it's almost like I can finger the wound back in. It's almost like it's undetectable. 3, 2, 1.
Creating this hit took an air pressurizer, a gnarly prosthetic, and a special blood formula. Making actors project, gush, and burst out blood on camera isn't just about gore. These bloody scenes require careful research and artistic flair. To find out how they do it, we went to Brett Schmidt and Greg Pikulski, the special effects makeup artists at SPFX Studio. They've created graphic injuries for mob dramas like The Irishman, medical shows like New Amsterdam, and action movies like Sicario: Day of the Soldado. It all starts with the actual prosthetics. The hardest part of creating wounds is building the look of depth.
Prosthetic makeup is an additive process, so you can only add, you can't take away.
But when you look at a wound, you're supposed to be looking into the body. The prosthetic needs to be thick enough to create that effect.
But it also has to work into the rest of the person's body. And that's why a lot of times for effects that have, you know, lacerations or even bullet holes, you'll actually have a prosthetic that is an entire torso.
Just to create the effect of this small bullet wound in Sicario: Day of the Soldado, Brett and Greg had to sculpt a prosthetic that covered most of the actor's shoulder. For this laceration prosthetic from New Amsterdam, they were able to build up a thickness that subtly ramps up toward the laceration.
There was no crime scene. Never do we see state police or FBI agents taking control of the crime scene, as should have happened. And minutes after the shooting, we see a man later identified as Kirk's video technician disassembling the video camera behind Kirk and stepping on Kirk's chair to reach it. A few days after the crime scene was thoroughly cleaned up without any FBI inspection. The best explanation why the scene was not treated as a crime scene is because it was not a crime scene.
Love you, Charlie.
Thank you. Thank you. This is in the restroom. I'll be right back.
You're good.
Bye, everyone. опять же, нормально было. Тут нормально. Ну, хватит. Новую батарею покупать. 90-го года пашет.
As I'm looking into this Charlie Kirk supposed assassination, right there, this is where they're picking him up off the ground. Look at him holding his head up on his own. Watch now. He's got control of his head. They're not doing that.
In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cobb. Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
These connections keep getting weirder and weirder. So right at the end of this press conference where Kash Patel announces that they caught Charlie Kirk's killer, Tyler Robinson, Kash Patel ends it with Charlie Kirk, I'll see you in Valhalla.
Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Now, what's interesting is that one of the pictures that they put out of Tyler Robinson shows Tyler Robinson in his bedroom next to his computer. On the computer is a picture of an island. That island is called Goat Island, and it's located in New Zealand, that has a retreat called Valhalla. Isn't that weird?
I'm a physician with over 13 years of emergency medicine experience, including military service. I've treated many cases of penetrating trauma, including gunshot and stabbing wounds. I watched the publicly available video of the Charlie Kirk shooting, and I noticed several features that don't match what I would typically expect from the type of neck injury some people claim occurred. I want to be clear up front. A video clip is not a medical record. Camera angle, lighting, compression, edits, missing time, and unseen interventions can all distort what appears to be happening. A definitive assessment requires clinical documentation, imaging, and the official findings. What I'm presenting here are observations and questions raised by what's visible on the footage. First, the bleeding pattern does not resemble carotid artery bleeding. True arterial hemorrhage, especially from a major artery, usually shows two obvious characteristics: strong pulsation with the heartbeat and high-pressure flow. The bleeding shown on the footage does not appear to have those features. Some people argue the bleeding could be from the jugular vein instead. A major jugular injury, however, typically produces continuous, persistent bleeding. It often does not simply slow down on its own. Even with firm pressure, venous bleeding from a large neck vessel can be difficult to control unless the vessel is effectively compressed or occluded. That leads to the second issue. The visible blood loss appears front-loaded and limited. Most of the visible bleeding seems to happen immediately after the impact, with relatively little sustained flow afterward. Based on what can be seen on the ground and on those assisting, the total visible volume also appears lower than I would expect for a major neck vessel injury. The neck is not a reservoir of stored blood. It is mainly a conduit. If a large vessel is torn, the usual pattern is ongoing bleeding until it is controlled. I also want to address a common explanation I've heard, that bleeding would stop quickly because the heart stopped. In real physiology, that is not a reliable simplification. Loss of effective circulation is not always instantaneous, and bleeding dynamics depend on many factors: vessel type, size of the tear, body position, partial compression, and any unseen intervention. The next set of concerns relates to neurological signs. In catastrophic injuries involving the brainstem or upper spinal cord, the reflex posturing patterns are often more consistent and predictable than what I see in the footage. The observed posture appears mixed, and the hand and finger positioning looks inconsistent for a stable reflex pattern. There is also behavior that looks variable rather than fixed. The way the microphone is gripped, partially released, and regripped. That kind of changing behavior is not what I'd expect in a uniform, severe neurological reflex state, though again, video limitations matter. Another major point is axial control. Remaining upright in a seated position requires continuous trunk muscle tone and complex coordination. In many scenarios involving sudden catastrophic high spinal cord disruption, I would expect rapid loss of axial tone with immediate slumping or collapse. In the footage, he appears to remain seated and leaning back longer than I would expect if axial control were truly lost. Finally, there is a brief moment during movement toward the vehicle that looks like partial head recentering and chin adjustment, the kind of movement people often do instinctively to clear a doorway. If meaningful neck control were completely absent, that moment stands out as unusual. To summarize, the bleeding pattern, the apparent lack of sustained heavy flow, the neurological posture, the variability of limb behavior, and the preserved seated posture are all elements that raise questions for me when compared to typical presentations of major neck vessel injury and catastrophic neuroinjury. Separately, I also heard a public claim that a non-family individual was informed of death status by medical staff and then relayed that information to the family. I cannot verify the details of what happened from public discussion alone, but in general, the timing and method of death notification are handled through strict procedures and confidentiality rules are taken seriously, especially in high-profile cases. If that account is accurate as described, it would raise questions about process and protocol. I'm not presenting this as a final conclusion. I'm presenting it as a professional set of observations based on limited footage. If additional video, verified timelines, medical documentation, or official findings explain these inconsistencies, I welcome that. If you disagree with any point, I invite you to challenge it with evidence and expert analysis. My goal here is accuracy, not drama.
Hey guys, so this week I've been doing my own little off-piece Charlie Kirk investigation. Many of you guys have been following along. I've connected a lot of dots between the CIA, the LDS community, the Utah Valley University system, and academic centers in Israel, like the Jerusalem Center and Ariel University. I think I've kind of like reached the end of my investigation, and also I'm like kind of getting nervous, like I couldn't sleep last night at all. But my main question now is, and I would like to turn it over to the authorities, Kash Patel, Donald Trump, this is kind of like for you to answer now. There was a CIA professor at Utah Valley University, Rusty Needs. He was with the CNSS. I saw his bio, his photo just a few days ago, like 2 days ago. I took this picture from the website. I got his bio, everything, and he has now like disappeared. I can't find it anywhere online. If anyone can find it, please let me know. I did have this, which is still on the Facebook page. Anyway, where is Rusty Needs? Hashtag, where is Rusty Needs? The CIA agent that works at Utah Valley University. Why has he gone ghost online? Okay, what do you guys think? Comment below. Hey guys, okay, this is a follow-up to my video yesterday on Rusty Needs, the CIA professor at Utah Valley University whose profile has gone missing. Okay, I did this video yesterday and now AI is saying that these people don't exist. The 6 people that I named don't exist and it's all fiction. Does anybody know if any of these people are real people at Utah Valley University? Okay, so I used AI to search the Wayback Machine, and here are the dates and removals. So his profile was fully accessible on September 24th, 2025, but taken down between September 24th and September 26th. He looks to be the first taken down, followed by 6 others, also in the CNSS spy school or tied to Canvas security. These include Dr. Elena Vasquez, National Security Policy Whiz, Professor Mark Harlan, Counterintelligence Ethics Expert, Sarah Klein, Event Logistics Liaison, Jamal Reed, Track Coach with Security Ties, T. Ramirez, Intelligence Simulations Analyst, and L. Patel, Event Planning Coordinator.
Considering everyone around Charlie Kirk was like CIA, Mossad, and I mean everybody, and then a bunch of the professors there were CIA. They've all been scrubbed now. The Dairy Queen he was at has been like scrubbed. The entire area has been scrubbed. But Tyler's, in jail. You never hear anything from him, of course. Doesn't seem to say a word or blink. And of course, his case number is, when you add up all the numbers, 33.
The moment I saw the footage, I knew something was off. Never have we been allowed to watch things that are gory like that, nonetheless see them on the internet and spread through social media and been shown through the news prior to the Butler rally, which I also think was either fake or something was very wrong. And now all of a sudden, the mainstream media is jamming this down our throats. It's causing a ton of division. There are people with God-given discernment that are sensing that something is wrong with it, knowing what we know about the world stage, and then there are others who are quick to blindly follow anything that calls itself Christianity. We are just at the beginning of the deceptions. If you can't stop and take a second to analyze something or pray on it or ask God about it, you need to slow down. I'm just going to be honest, because you're going to be in trouble if you don't ask God about these things. This is just the beginning. I'm not going to show the things that have gone viral that are weird about it, like the book detailing it coming out the day before it happened, the GG rings, like the Freemason symbols, the yellow hands. I'm not even going to bother covering that. We're going to look at his wife. So first of all, when she was 17 years old, she began working with the US military, specifically the Department of Defense and the Pentagon. Then she apparently got an invite to be in a pageant, which she immediately won, which is something that you have to train for like years. Like, pageants are not as easy as they look. And that is where she started bumping shoulders with Trump and Epstein. And then Trump eventually introduced her to Charlie Kirk. Now, let me just say, this is not me trying to be insensitive or like not caring that people die. I don't believe that anything on the world stage is real, including all politics, including things like Joe Rogan, Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk. Even before these incidents, I didn't believe that any of them were like people like us. You know what I mean? Because you just don't get that big with the type of opinions that we have. And notice how, yeah, they'll speak against Israel, but they all promote Catholicism very heavily and have Vatican ties. And honestly, I used to really like Candace Owens. I don't want this to be true, but you can't tell me that she does the research that she does and yet is a Catholic and married to a high-level Jesuit. I mean, really think about it. If you watch her episodes, she's having like people that are supposedly ex-CIA people like exposing the CIA's secrets to an audience of like 5 million. I don't think so. That's not gonna happen. They're not gonna allow that to happen. You know who else is trained by the Jesuits? Erica Kirk. And isn't it interesting that she posted this long thing about life, weirdly enough, is a countdown, you don't get forever, August 20th. There's your disclosure. Charlie Kirk's usernames are Charlie Kirk 11. I know a lot of you guys have probably seen the 3 hats lined up where it adds up to 11, 11, 11, and then it makes 33 like on the shooting footage. So just take note of her eye color and what her eyes look like, and I'm going to show you some stills from videos of her talking, both recently and a few months ago. That's weird, her eyes are yellow. I'm sorry, but if you don't see what's wrong with these, you don't have discernment. They are literally reptilian. They're up and down like almonds. And they're yellow. I mean, you don't have to have sharp discernment to look at these and be like, okay, this is weird. And when you go frame by frame, the majority of them, her teeth are like razor sharp. This woman has like a perfect smile. You can't tell me that this is like just blurry footage or something. So this eye is yellow. and that one's red and like reptilian.
Charlie Kirk's memorial is going to be held tomorrow in Glendale, Arizona, when the partial solar eclipse passes over, symbolically closing the ritual loop, which started with the blood moon eclipse and now is ending with tomorrow's solar eclipse. Glendale sits right next to Phoenix, Arizona. You know, Phoenix, like the phoenix bird that mythologically rises from the ashes and is reborn, a Luciferian belief. The Masons worship Lucifer. Lucifer was the fallen angel that fell to this world and became Satan. And this is all happening on the 33rd degree parallel. You can't make this stuff up, but hey, the Masons can.
That Charlie was actually a master builder of people.
He is a master builder.
Charlie was actually a master builder of people.
What does that mean? Freemason master builder. Freemasonry is an ancient and honourable fraternity. The Master Builder is a title bestowed upon those who have demonstrated their commitment to the principles of Freemasonry and to their brothers in craft. Hard to accept. That shooting was staged. You saw all the clues left for us. You saw the hats on the table. 3 of them. 4, 7. That's 11 times 3, it's 33. Charlie Kirk's name, C is 3, K is 11. Patel said that they had the man in custody for 33.
To the family of Charlie Kirk, in honor of his memory, I want to express my deep gratitude to President Trump. In 33 hours.
And if you listen to the numbers all added up at the court case for Tyler Robinson.
To the judge.
Polling case 251403576, State of Utah versus Tyler James Robinson.
33. I don't know how much more obvious we can make it. They've been leaving clues in plain sight for us, but we're now about to find out the truth when it comes to Freemasonry and all the good people that have been fighting for our freedoms against evil from this world.
They chose the memorial today on purpose. You hear me? On purpose. Do not let anybody tell you it was a coincidence that almost 80,000 people packed the stadium on the exact day of a solar eclipse, a new moon, and Saturn at opposition. That's not random. That's staging. That's choreography. And it wasn't for you. It was for them. And here is the ugly truth. Crowds are batteries. When tens of thousands cry, chant, and sway together, you create a current. Science calls it collective effervescence. Spirit folks call it energy harvesting. I call it what I see it, stealing your grief and cashing it in. And this playbook isn't new. The Romans did it in the Colosseum, blood and bread to distract the people while the empire pulled strings behind the curtain. Televangelists do it every single Sunday, whipping a congregation into tears, then passing the plate at the peak. Even Hollywood showed you the metaphor in The Matrix. Humans strapped in as living batteries, feeding a machine that doesn't give a damn about them. Fiction? Sure, but it makes the point plain. Your energy can be drained and redirected. That's exactly what happened today. A memorial dressed up as a spectacle, tears turned into chants, destiny slipped into the mic right as the eclipse hit. While you were raw from loss, they funneled that energy straight into their machine. Donations, pledges, loyalty. The eclipse, that was the amplifier. Tie a man's death to the heavens and suddenly it's not just a loss, it's prophecy. And if you question it, you're told you're dishonored in the dead, and that's the trick. Grief turns sacred, sacred turned untouchable, untouchable turned useful. And here is the kicker. It worked. People walked out of there buzzing, ready to give, ready to fight, ready to defend a story somebody else scripted for them. That charge didn't fade when the lights cut off. It got banked. It'll be spent later on whatever agenda they load into it. This was not comfort. It wasn't closure. It was control. They harvested 80,000 beaten hearts today and called it a memorial. So don't get played. Don't call it holy when it was a hustle. They chose that day on purpose. They chose that stadium on purpose. They used that eclipse on purpose. And unless you start naming it, they'll keep doing it. Because listen, harvesting your pain has always been the oldest con in the book. Stay awake, stay loud, and do not let them farm you like cattle.
I am not going to play this video because, quite frankly, I can't stand to listen to her. I watched the whole thing, almost 16 minutes, and I did not see one tear. A couple fake boo-hoos. No tear was shed from this woman.
Charlie Kirk is an actor, okay, starring in a movie, and now his character in that movie has just been killed off, okay? It's quite simple stuff, guys, it really is. I don't understand what people are not getting, okay? And yes, I did see the footage, and it did look very convincing, I must admit, it did. But like I've said before, with all these scare events and the ones that are coming up, they will look very convincing, even for us awakened ones, okay? They will. And we may even temporarily get plugged back into the Matrix, okay? Until the penny drops and we can see it's all bollocks, and then we can pull ourselves back out again. That's how it's going to work, okay? But central casting, guys, central casting is absolute genius. You would never know, okay? They use things like AI, you know, skin suits, masks, voice modulation. You would never know. It's absolute genius what they do. It really is, okay? So, what's next on the agenda then? Because something's coming. I feel like it's going to be a big celebrity death, like somebody that we all know. I feel like that's on the agenda next.
The powers that should not be are attempting to push this PSYOPs theater deep into the minds of the zombie class. They are trying to turn Charlie Kirk, the kike jerk, into some kind of modern-day biblical Jesus. At the very least, they are trying to turn him into some kind of conservative martyr, which died for our political sins. And it is rather scary to me just how many people are still buying the lies that they are pushing. It's scary just how many people are still under that 9/11 COVID spell of deception. It is rather obvious that the evil empire is attempting to use this stage show event to control the masses, to cause fear, and to divide an already very divided nation. It is appalling to see Trump pushing for a civil war over Charlie Kirk. And then we have to deal with the cult of Trump and all the diehard Operation Trust Q-tards that perform mental gymnastics to come up with the reason that they are still winning.
Charlie really was an amazing person. You know, he was like, we were really close. And he was my best friend and my brother. And I will never unsee the footage of what I saw. The violence of it. I don't know what else to say, guys, other than I'm in a lot of pain right now. And I love you, Charlie, and I'll see you when I'll see you. I love you very much. Thank you, guys.
As I'm looking into this Charlie Kirk supposed assassination, right there, this is where they're picking him up off the ground. Look at him holding his head up on his own. Watch now. He's got control of his head. They're not doing that.
That's right. We don't submit to terror. We make the terror.
As I'm looking into this Charlie Kirk supposed assassination, right there, this is where they're picking him up off the ground. Look at him holding his head up on his own. Watch now. He's got control of his head. They're not doing that.